A 49-year-old man was found dead on his bed, lying face up with blood oozing from all orifices, a tragic and gruesome sight. After police launched an investigation, a 59-year-old woman emerged as the prime suspect. Reports revealed that the victim had previously been involved in an ambiguous relationship with her. But shockingly, this woman didn't just share a special connection with the deceased, she was simultaneously entangled in illicit affairs with 6 other men. As for the bizarre motive and method, it was so absurd it could almost be darkly comical. Around 10 p.m. on January the 18th, 2016, a police station in Yibin City, Sichuan Province, received a frantic call from an elderly woman. She said her son was dead at home. The victim, Lei, was a 48-year-old married man, a local butcher who ran a pork stall. According to Lei's mother's account, because Lei's wife worked long-term in another city, he had been living alone. The mother lived near Lei's home, so she would bring him meals every day. On the evening of January 17, Lei called his mother and told her not to bring food that day. However, around 9 p.m. that night, when Lei's mother went out for a walk, she passed by Lei's house. She saw the front door was tightly closed, but the lights inside were still on, and she could even hear the sound of the TV. Yet when she knocked, no one answered. Initially, Lei's mother thought perhaps the TV was too loud, and Lei hadn't heard her knocking, or maybe he had gone to bed early because he was exhausted from work. So she didn't pay much attention to it. After finishing her walk, she went back home. However, early the next morning when she brought over the meal she had prepared for her son, she found Lei's house in the same state as the previous night, the door tightly shut, with the TV still on. Lei's mother assumed he hadn't woken up yet, so she left to buy groceries at the market. It wasn't until the 3rd time when she returned to Lei's doorstep and saw that everything remained unchanged that she realized something was terribly wrong. She then called her son-in-law for help. With his help, the two forced open the door and found the TV still playing in the living room, but the room itself was empty. Their hearts sank. They rushed to check Lei's bedroom, and there he was, collapsed on the bed, his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth covered in thick, dried blood. The sight horrified them. Lei's mother broke down in tears on the spot. After composing herself, she called the police. The forensic examiner's preliminary report revealed Lei died from rat poisoning, with the time of death estimated to be the evening of January 17th. Additionally, police confirmed through on-site investigation that 4,000 renminbi in cash was missing. After reviewing Lei's call history, investigators discovered that on the night of the incident, besides calling his mother, Lei had also made a call to a woman named Town. Lei's family stated they didn't know Town. However, the call log showed frequent communication between Lei and Town, indicating they must have been particularly close acquaintances. Subsequently, the police quickly identified Town's personal details. Town, female, 59 years old, married with her husband and children working away from home, thus having lived alone for many years. Considering both Lei and Town were in long-distance relationships with their respective spouses and maintained such close contact, the police preliminarily determined that an improper intimate relationship likely existed between the two. Then it was confirmed through interviews with Lei's neighbors. The police immediately located Town and conducted an interrogation. In the interrogation room, after being informed of Lei's death, Town's expression appeared both shocked yet somehow unsurprised, as if she had anticipated this outcome. She quickly confessed to her crime. Now, considering both she and Lei had their own families, what led them to become involved with each other? And what exactly drove this 59-year-old woman to ultimately poison her lover? In the interrogation room, Town, though already 59 years old, some might believe she was only in her 30s. She was fully aware of her physical advantages and knowingly exploited them. Behind her family's back, Town had cultivated multiple romantic relationships locally. According to her own confession, she had a total of 6 lovers. The longest ongoing affair had lasted 5 years, and Lei was merely one member of them. Town and Lay met by chance at the vegetable market. At the time, Town was buying pork while Lay was the owner of the pork stall. Town immediately took a liking to this masculine man. During their conversation, she learned that Lay was only 48 years old and that his wife also worked in another city. Looking at this single man standing shirtless before her, Town decisively exchanged WeChat with Lay. The two found remarkable rapport in their chats, commiserating over the loneliness of having absent spouses, sharing their struggles with emotional emptiness, and confessing their unfulfilled desires in middle age. Later, the two began meeting regularly for walks and meals. Town started visiting Lay's pork stall daily, just to see him more often. When handing her the meat, Lay would deliberately brush against Town's hands, gestures she never refused. Instead, she would respond with a coy smile and a flirtatious glance. Eventually, their relationship culminated in intimacy at Lay's home. Town stated that after each intimate encounter, Lay would give her some money. Moreover, Town was thoroughly satisfied with Lay's youthful physique. Thus, not long after, she moved directly into Lay's home. At first, the couple behaved like passionate lovers, constantly attached to each other. Lay would sometimes even close his pork stall just to stay home with his beautiful darling. However, Town soon grew weary of Lay and proposed breaking up, and moved out of his home. Yet Lay couldn't accept this. He repeatedly harassed Town, threatening to expose their affair publicly if she ended the relationship. At that time, after breaking up with Lay, Town had actually already begun a new extramarital affair. However, as a physically weak woman, she was afraid to provoke him. Moreover, she still desperately wanted to maintain her respectable image within her family. So, from Town's perspective, this affair with Lay absolutely could not be exposed. Town had no choice but to keep placating Lay while secretly continuing to date her new lover. On the evening of January the 17th, 2016, while Town was having a long, intimate phone call with her new lover, Lay called again, threatening Town to meet him. Town was extremely unwilling in her heart, but fearing the affair would be exposed, she had no choice but to go. On her way to Lay's house, she happened to see rat poison being sold by the roadside. Thinking that rat poison probably couldn't kill a person, it would be better to poison Lay to teach him a lesson. Once frightened, he would likely stop harassing her, and she could then wholeheartedly romance with her new lover. At 7 p.m., Lay called his mother in advance, informing her not to bring dinner that night. Then Town arrived at Lay's house as agreed. As soon as he saw Town, he couldn't wait to be intimate with her. Town, planning to teach Lay a lesson later, feared he might notice something amiss, so she pretended to go along with him. After their intimate moment, Town personally made Lay a bowl of Town Yuan, but in truth, she had put the rat poison in it. Deeply moved by this gesture, Lay thought Town had changed her mind and still had feelings for him, so he ate all the Town Yuan. After eating, the two chatted for a while before Lay went to feed the pigs. During their conversation, Lay mentioned that he had withdrawn 4,000 yuan from the bank during the day to purchase pork the next day. Fearing that the rat poison might not take effect and wanting to find out where Lay had put the money, Town unusually offered to help feed the pigs. Her uncharacteristic thoughtfulness made Lay beam with joy. About 30 minutes later, when the rat poison began taking effect, Lay merely thought his dizziness was from overexertion that day. He never suspected the woman. Town immediately helped Lay back to the house. While supporting him, she felt the 4,000 yuan in his clothing pocket. But at this moment, Lay was completely immersed in the joy of winning back his love, while simultaneously suffering from dizziness. Utterly unaware of Town's intentions, he passively let her remove his clothes. After obtaining the clothes, Town excused herself, saying she needed to wash them in the yard, then slipped out to search through Lay's pockets. Finding the money, she carelessly threw his clothes on the ground and lingered in the courtyard, waiting for Lay to fall asleep before making her escape. Twice during this time, Lay called out for Town to come inside, but she refused both times, using laundry as her excuse. Later, when she heard Lay cry out in pain, Town grew concerned and asked if he needed hospital treatment. When he firmly declined, she assumed his condition wasn't serious. Only when all sounds from inside the house ceased did she finally leave. In 2017, the Yibin Intermediate People's Court held a trial and issued a judgment on Town's case. Due to insufficient evidence, Town was acquitted. That same year, the Yibin People's Procuratorate raised objections to the verdict, and Lei's family, dissatisfied with the judgment, actively appealed. In 2019, the Sichuan High People's Court revoked the original judgment and remanded the Town case for retrial. In 2020, the Yibin Intermediate People's Court retried the case, convicting Town of intentional homicide. She was sentenced to 14 years in prison, fined 4,000 yuan, and ordered to pay 22,849 yuan in compensation to the victim's family. The entire case finally came to an end. In this case, both Town and Lei were married individuals, yet unable to resist loneliness. They engaged in an extramarital affair. For momentary pleasure, they disregarded their marriages and families, violating moral and ethical principles. After multiple affairs, Town committed impulsive killing, crossing both legal and moral boundaries, ultimately facing legal punishment. At 59 years old, she is destined to spend her remaining years repenting in prison. As for Lei, his obsession with the thrill of adultery led him to persistently harass Town. He neither wanted to abandon his family nor give up his illicit passion, and ultimately paid with his life. A classic case of pursuing small gains at great cost. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this case, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow Case Diaries. There are plenty more cases coming your way. Got thoughts on today's story? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. See you in the next one.